When Daniel Tefft was born on May 1st, 1743, in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, in what was called British colonial America at the time, his father, Stephen Tefft, was 26 and his mother, Amy Gardiner, was 19. He married Sarah Gardiner in 1765 in South Kingstown. They were the parents of one son and 4 daughters. We will be discussing his daughter Sarah in the upcoming episode. He registered for military service in 1779. He died on September 26, 1805, in Kingston, at the age of 62. Daniel was 20 years old when the first Jewish synagogue in America was built in Newport, Rhode Island in 1763. It still stands today, making it the oldest synagogue in the United States. On June 9, 1772, all the colonists that were extremely angry with the trade restrictions that Britain put them under board the HMS Gaspee and set it ablaze. This was the first act of violence against the British on the North American continent, known as the Gaspee Affair. Daniel was 33 years old when Thomas Jefferson and the new legal paperwork we like to call the Declaration of Independence was endorsed by Congress. They celebrated as the colonies declared their independence. Daniel's wife Sarah Gardiner was born on May 13, 1749, in South Kingston's Rhode Island. Her father, George Gardiner Sr., was 28 and her mother, Sarah Boss, was 24. Daniel was part of the Rhode Island militia system, which was heavily active during the war, especially given the British occupation of nearby Newport. Daniel wasn't the only one in the family to serve. His brother, Gardiner Tefft, was a lieutenant in the 3rd Regiment of the Kings County Militia and was a member of the famous Kingston Reds. Living in South Kingstown, Daniel and Sarah would have been right in the thick of the conflict. The area was a frequent target for British foraging parties and naval raids. Serving in the militia during this time often meant being on call to defend the coastline at a moment's notice or participating in larger operations like the Battle of Rhode Island, 1778. Daniel is often cited in lineages for the Sons of the American Revolution, SAR, and the Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR, making him a patriot ancestor. Daniel was primarily a yeoman farmer. In colonial Rhode Island, being a yeoman meant he was a freeholder who owned and cultivated his own land. This was a position of respectable social standing. He wasn't just a laborer, but a land-owning head of household. It's important to remember that his work was a partnership with Sarah. While Daniel managed the fields and livestock, Sarah managed the indoor industries, preserving food for the winter, making candles and soap, and spinning the wool from Daniel's sheep into clothing. In the late 1700s, families in South Kingstown generally lived on adjacent or nearby plots of land. Since the Hollands and Tefts were close neighbors, they shared labor, celebrated holidays, and attended the same local church and town meetings. When Daniel died, he was a respected member of the community. His passing would have been marked as a celebration of life by a gathering of his family, neighbors, and friends. Both the Gardiners and the Hollands were there to pay their respects. He was buried in South Kingstown in the Tefft Cemetery plot. Following his death, his land and belongings would have been distributed according to his will or by the local probate court. This was the moment when Henry Hooper Holland Sr. and his wife Sarah Tefft Holland would have been involved in the legal transition of the family farm. Daniel and Sarah are the beautiful branch on our family tree. Without them, we would never be.
In fields where Narragansett breezes blow, a tale of love from long ago. Sarah, with a heart so bright, and Daniel, her constant light. George, a father's watchful eye, and Sarah Boss, with a loving sigh. Together they formed a bond so deep, secrets and dreams, forever to keep. Daniel and Sarah, a match so true, a love that grew, forever new. Their lives entwined, like vines on a wall, weathering storms, through rise and fall. Their children, flowers in life's garden, a joy, a blessing, a future pardon. Generations to come, the seeds they sowed, A legacy of love, a story to be told. So let us sing of Daniel and Sarah, a love that's timeless, beyond compare. May their memory shine, like stars above, a beacon of hope, a symbol of true love.
Thank you for joining me on our family journey through this glorious time. God be the glory. I will see you soon. Bye.